Shit.
Said you're ready. No, it's gone. Oh shit. Hi everybody.
I think he went potato last second.
Yeah, he did. It was right before you left, or right before we went live. Hi everybody. Wait a minute. our intro went away. He'll be back momentarily. Yeah, we're live duty. Opening it. Oh, Tomas, man, I'm sorry. I hope your tinnitus is gone bad. Is better from last week.
I did not think you were going to start that already, but here we go.
I asked you if you're ready. All right, here we go. No, not now.
Oh man. All right, whatever. Fine.
No, I'm in New York, home of Starbucks coffee. Nothing says New York like a nice latte of coffee. Let's go inside. Hey, how you doing? I'll have a coffee. Now that's New York. Whoa. I'm in New York City, home of CVS Pharmacy. They got everything you need, and they're open 24 hours. Let's go inside. How you doing? You guys got gum?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Now that's New York.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in New York City. The Big Apple, home of a little mom and pop I like to call Target. Come on.
You guys got Gatorade? All right.
That's New York. I'm walking in.
That was a solid way to close that out.
Yo. Welcome to the Plumes. What that? I'm Mass Blast 09 and the Plumes of Hazard.
He's supposed to be doing this.
I'm just sitting there I'm like, wait, why am I blurry? Yeah, go ahead.
Top Liver 09.
Wait, did his fan shrink?
What?
Back on the right hand side. Looks like a little chubby one.
My fan?
Yeah.
That's your dehumidifier, isn't it?
Oh, this is the air purifier. During the winter, I have the heater fan in front of it.
It looks like he's using unshielded Cat 2 wire for his headphones.
Right?
It does.
Yo, let me get some of that twisted pear, son.
That's what twisted pear, man.
Why the fuck am I
you got some heat shrink for me, dog?
Yeah.
Oh, Shane is objecting to your hoodie. There, foo.
Honestly, I am not an Oregon fan. I have what I am a fan of is having a cousin that went to Oregon that failed out of there and left his hoodie at my house. Fan. That's what I'm a fan of.
Free hoodie is good hoodie.
Yes.
Hey, finish the intros.
Anyway, I'm Fubaka. This is the Angel Vapor, and no longer with us is Blast 09.
We can't keep him around, man.
Seriously.
Slangeva. Mm-hmm. Cheers. C words.
I drive a Libyan Subaru with my hoodie.
Welcome.
LL Bean. Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say is that Libyan? I know the I's and L's, but that look like I billion? Oh,
I don't know. Libyan's funnier.
Yeah, Libyan is definitely. Hey, Master's back. Here, I'll click on him. That's the Mass Blast 09.
And Shane, I don't think you're the first person to ask about this hoodie. I feel like I've worn this on an episode at some point.
Have you? I don't know if I've seen that one.
I remember someone asking about it in the comments in a VOD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Cool. Speaking of FODs, did you see that screenshot I posted earlier? last week's like nobody watched the show last week. There's people that were in chat. And that's it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about the whole state of vaping.
Right.
All right, yo, it's time to start showing our butt cheeks.
There you go.
Drive that shit up.
Move it.
Put some risque objects in frame.
We need to start calling people out. What do we call that?
Oh yeah, we can start some drama.
I'm not streaming from the fucking playroom. This is my office. That's the playroom.
No, that's Massey's timeout box.
Yeah. His wife goes, "You bought another atomizer? Time out."
Get your ass in the house. No,
Hey.
she'd probably be like, "You're building another fucking atomizer or vape? Get in the house."
Do your dogs ever go into the playhouse?
No, it's like that's a hard hat hazard area in there. There's so many fucking toys in there.
Right.
Yeah,
It's smarter than that.
yeah, and the door won't stay closed. It just opens by itself. It's like haunted.
You gotta frame up the or shim up the frame a little bit, right? Get in there and
It's plastic. You need to put some magnets in there.
there you go.
Dude,
Oh,
she
put a
that
P9
whole
doorbell. P9 doorbell.
That whole thing it's got toys in it. She freaking manhandles and pulls that whole house out to use the other door, just pushing everything that's on the floor. The vacuum that's charging over there, everything else that's plugged in, just destroyed.
Yeah.
So yes, that's a playroom.
Good. What's the time frame for your new wall?
Not soon enough.
Do you work out of the house sometimes, or do you always go in the office?
No, yeah, I work out of the freezer sometimes. Yeah. So
If you occasionally were able to
I do.
bring a Yeti cooler home and do your work here.
Yo, can we speak about that for a minute?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with people? I go into Academy Sports with a buddy like 2 days ago, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he goes, "You hadn't seen these coolers?" I'm like, "No." $299 for a fucking like 2-gallon cooler that weighs 50 pounds. What the fuck is this?
Does it suck your
Oh,
dick?
it can keep ice for a month. And then he goes,
Have you never shopped for Yeti coolers before?
Wait, not I hadn't seen these, the hard plastic ones with a fucking seal and a fucking vent hole, like you're putting a freaking temperature controlled device in there. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, gotta load this," and he hands me this fucking bucket, 5-gallon bucket that's like $80. Now you're full of shit right there. Yep, sure enough, Yeti branded 5-gallon bucket.
Is that like a beer bucket? You put a bunch of beers in it and ice?
No, it's straight up 5-gallon bucket like you go fishing with.
Oh, like a bucket, but it's not double insulated or anything. It's just a bucket.
It's just a bucket. And it says, "Do not kick" on the side because you might hurt your toe because it weighs like 30 pounds.
Does it got like non-skid stuff on the bottom or something? Like I'm trying to figure out what
Is it the coolest cooler?
It's got non-skid stuff on the bottom. Yeah.
Okay, so Colin wouldn't like it.
There you go.
Anyways,
I have to say this thing does keep ice for a really damn long time, but it's not. I mean, some of those coolers, like the big ones that you put like on a boat or in your in like your camper or something, those things. I mean, $400 easy, and they make bigger ones too.
but dude, my buddy's got a huge igloo cooler for his boat, and it keeps ice all day while you're out there fishing.
Yeah.
Sometimes even into the next day. Perfectly fine.
Yeah, but these. Okay, so in their defense, and I'm not a Yeti salesman or anything, but and by the way, I also hear a really good thing about the igloo coolers.
Are a Yeti.
Huh?
I said you're in Texas. You're automatically a Yeti salesman.
No, my affiliate program hasn't gone through yet. So I also hear really good things about. I think it's Engel or the other guys that make apparently the first premium cooler before Yeti was Yeti. But anyway, so these two guys, they legitimate. If you take a couple 10-pound bags of ice or whatever, chuck them in there and take it out in the Gulf, hot as shit weather or whatever, it'll keep the ice in there for days, plural. Like, or you can go camping for like a week, and it keeps fresh seafood cold for the week or whatever. Like, they're apparently pretty damn cool, but you definitely pay for it.
Yeah, and the one that I'm talking about is the one that has these handles that come down and lock and has wheels. Okay. Yes. And they come in the typical baby blue, baby teal, colors. But here's the thing.
Oh wait, are you talking about the ones that are like 2 foot by 2 foot, like a cube?
Yes.
And with a wheel and a handle on it, so you can drag them.
Yes.
Like luggage.
Yes, those are the ones that I'm talking about.
I've got like the igloo version of that. It works pretty well. For a day barbecuing or whatever at the park, or
But anyways, they are insulated, whatever. But I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then they got the one with the handle, and that one's like $180, $200, and it's literally it's the Roadie 20 cooler. You can maybe put 6 beers in there. What the fuck?
6 beers? That's with lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
No, I feel like my wife got ours at like Costco or something, right, for $50 or something. The igloo version. Well, but so we've taken it up and down hills and bumped it down, up and down, curbs and stuff, and it's done all right for the price anyway.
Yeah. So now you have the ones, they're called Bear Claw and all these other ones, which again, they're being made in the same factory, and it doesn't matter. And those are still $100 and something. I don't know. A cooler, you want something that is going to be light, that is going to float, and that it's gonna have a drain, and you're going to be able to just fucking toss it in and out, because it's already going to be heavy enough with all the ice and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and now
you want good handles on the side too, so you can get it out of your trunk.
Right. Yeah. So, but to have these have a rubber gasket seal that goes around it and all this other stuff.
Right.
Whatever. Anyways,
that seal I think is a big part of it, right? Obviously the double insulated, whatever, and in theory, the igloos and stuff have that too. But that rubberized seal and something about the internal configuration of the nicer coolers, it really does keep ice for a really long time if that's something that you need, right? But I don't have a boat, so I'm not going to be out in the Gulf for a week. I don't care. It just needs to keep ice for the day.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I've gone out for literally almost close to 8-9 hours on a boat, and if you go out down here, 8-9 hours on a boat is a long fucking time in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
It is brutal, and we're talking about a close to 30-footer dual engine fishing boat,
serious boat. And you're on the Atlantic side, right?
Yeah,
you're on the Atlantic side, so that you'll get a little more bumpies.
Yes. Well, you're out there all day. It's gonna take a toll on you.
Yes.
What the fuck you doing with that big ass fucking cooler? Well, great, so it kept ice that long, but all other coolers do the same thing. So what I was told was, these are ones for people that go camping.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, what? You want the ice to last you a week while you're going camping? Like, if you're worried about cold ice to keep your ice cream in when you're camping, you're not camping.
You heard it here first. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first. If you're eating ice cream, you ain't camping.
You're fucking right. I'm telling you right now, don't eat fucking Ben & Jerry's while you're camping, because you're definitely not camping, you bitch.
You're going to attract bears.
Oh, no. There's a sticker on them. It says bear resistant on the coolers.
Yeah. I don't doubt it.
It says bear resistant on it. I'm not kidding.
No, I'm saying you're going to attract them while you're eating the Ben & Jerry's.
It doesn't matter. They're not going to be able to get to it. You just throw it in put yourself in the cooler.
That's actually a really good point. So, there's all these crazy ass rules that here in the States, and I'm sure everywhere else too, of things that you have to put on cars to make them more safe, right? There's all the different, your lights can't be on a movable part of the car, so you have to have them on the fixed body. You got to have reflectors here and there, and you have to have a glow-in-the-dark trunk release in case somebody puts you in the trunk, right? How has Yeti and Engel gotten away with those giant-ass chest freezers, and they don't have an internal glow-in-the-dark, get me out of here thing?
Somebody, you got to take the doors off your fridge when you put it out so kids don't die in it. All that stuff. Yeti, get with it. You heard it here first. Get on it.
That's actually a good point too, because back in the day that made sense, because the ice boxes, they had the big ass like ka-chunk locks on the outside, right? Ain't got that anymore. My fridge has got this chintzy little magnet strip. All you gotta do is this and it'll open.
Yeah. Well, apparently they were worried about the kid closing the door.
Oh yeah, falling on his face,
and then them not being able to open. So, but anyways, so there you go. Let's make fun of Apple people next. iPhones. Who would buy such a thing? I tell you to buy an iPhone. Someone who just fucking bought a Yeti. That's who would buy an iPhone right there. I can guarantee you that 90% of iPhone owners own a Yeti. But look, here's the thing. Look at this. Okay, it's even got shit marks on it. Look, it's a Yeti. Why? Because the company got it for me. Would I have gone out and spent when these came out? These are what, $40?
$50. When they were new, they were like $50. They're like this one I bought. 36. It was $30 I think now at Academy.
36 at Academy.
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever floats your Yeti. So there's even some people who will buy the stainless versions that are not Yeti, take them somewhere to get powder coated, and then they want the Yeti on the bottom,
of course,
laser etched. So since it's not embossed, it looks like you have a Yeti now. So
yeah, we talked about this a long time ago, where you were finding that the Arctic or whatever those other ones are called, you were saying they worked exactly the same as Yeti, but that has not been my experience. My experience was the cheapo one that I had. God damn, Foo, what are you doing?
Is this exciting you? Yeah, what's going on?
Anyway, but just on inside, not outside, extreme weather, whatever. Here at my desk, put it full of ice, put water in it, and the Arctic was be all melty in hours. And the fucking Yeti's like the next day still got some remnants in it. I do think there's something to the hype, but you definitely pay for it, right? I mean, you pay $10 or $15 for the Arctic version, pay $30, $35 for the Yeti version. Is it worth it to walk to your kitchen and get more ice? I don't know. Maybe not.
The 30-ounce cups at Academy are $9.
Yeah.
What was the one that Chef loves? He told me about Hydro Flasks.
Yeah. See, that's a whole nother.
Yeah, he loves his. He was saying, well, he lives in Vegas, so I'd take his word for it if he could leave one in a fucking black car in Vegas and still have ice in it. So.
I'm sorry, I was laughing at Vic. He's signing his messages now sent from my iPhone, like the stock signature from the Veil app. Brilliant.
I mean, I think that last video was great. They're like, this is what's new with the new iPhone, and they take a picture of the bubble and they drag it over the old iPhone and just drop it on it.
Yeah.
Bing.
Well, that's the case with all the S years, right? They've always been like that. It's the same exterior shit, just faster processors with more RAM and maybe better camera or whatever, right? But most of the time, that's about it.
Yeah.
Gizzard wants to go back to Tweezer Talk. We haven't done a good Tweezer Talk in a while, have we? If you are interested, I am still using my the one that had a chip at the end of it. Still using this one. The old Chinese ones are still on the bench, so to speak. Hey, Foo, what are you vaping now?
Limeade and a piston on the Narda on the Limo. Yeah. What about you?
Nice. This week I've mostly been vaping on the Limelight Bliss ET edition. beep, 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 with a Haku Vena on top, Bell Vapes bell cap, and an Omen cup. Inside of here is, of course, Rail Cracker with a mod maker thing on top of the Chubby Gorilla bottle thing. I think I might be kind of done with this. We'll talk about this in a minute. Not the juice, of course. The juice is never going anywhere. But and then the other setup that I have definitely still been using is still my BuiltBox Rev 4 with an exo set inside, and some of the dregs of my abolishment, sadly enough, and just a Hellfire tip on top. And I get some news about that later. We'll talk about that later. Mousy, what you got?
I am not vaping on anything right now.
Fair enough. Fair enough, sir. So I do have, what's up with the dual SIM thing? I mean, a lot of different phones have had that for a long time, and it's good if you travel internationally or whatever, and you need to drop a new SIM in. But the latest iPhone things, they're dual SIM, but one of them's an eSIM or something. It's like an electronic SIM card.
Yeah, where you can change on the fly. You got to have your drug phone and your real phone. Can you tell us more about that?
My brother actually does that with his S8 because he works between New York and Thailand.
Yeah.
His shit. Does
it authenticate if you have a dual SIM card phone, regardless if it's in the iPhone or not? How do you toggle between the two? Is it a software thing, or is it connected to the towers for both SIMs at all times? Do you know how that works? I don't.
I don't. I know that when he pops in his Thailand SIM, restart, turns his phone back on, and he's all his high network, because that's why he has the Samsung. I don't know about iPhone and stuff.
Right, but that's if you just swap your SIM out. That makes sense. But I mean, the dual SIM thing, that's what I'm wondering about. I'm wondering if you're connected to both towers at the same time.
I think you probably switch your frequency, if I had to guess.
Interesting.
I know, I think international bands are different from the ones in North America. Or just the US specifically. I think Canada's on a different one.
For sure. They share, there's some frequency overlap. So if you have AT&T, which is what I've been with forever, if you go over to Canada, they've got Rogers. And I think they share 75% of their bandwidth or their frequency bands that they support. So it's pretty much plug and play there. We're talking about a lot of not vaping things. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about board games last week, dude.
That's true. But we should have. Speaking of which, I do have that link. I did put that in the show notes before. I do have this in my notes to mention again. So in case you weren't here last week, which it seems like many of you weren't, our good buddy Eric, who is the guy who wires up the Titan mods, Masty mills them out, Eric wires them up. He opened up a Kickstarter, which is really cool. And to be perfectly honest, I haven't played the game, but the Kickstarter itself, I've done a lot of Kickstarter things, and that Kickstarter campaign, he did a really good job, man. It looks really good, real professional, and it just looks good. So I'll put the link inside chat.
You want to play the video?
No.
Okay.
I showed it to my wife, by the way, the video for the Kickstarter. She was like, I don't know anything about the game yet. At the end, I'm like, yeah, I know. It's kind of like the intro video.
Yeah, they need to work on that.
But the rest of it, I mean, the video was fun, and that's fine. But there's, the rest of it flows really well. He did a really good job with the graphics and getting it all laid out properly, and the whole thing. I think he did a good job.
Hey, Kutris, if you're listening, welcome. He's been messaging me back and forth. I just said, yeah, I'll get that to you in a minute. I said, I'm in the middle of that internet television show that nobody watches.
You should have just given him a countdown. Negative time.
What's the timestamp? Yeah, because
negative time. We've been on for 20 minutes.
Hey, Kutris, the next episode of Plumes of Hazard is in 23 hours, 22 minutes. Okay.
There you go.
Exactly. Done. So the thing here at the beginning of the show that Massey and I didn't communicate very well, and he thought I wanted at the very beginning of the show. was this thing. So our buddy Pete Basardo has been obviously around and been vaping for a really long time, and I've been watching his reviews for a long time. The last maybe 4 years, he doesn't vape or he doesn't review very many things that I personally use. So I haven't been watching him as intently as I did at the beginning. But one of the things that I always enjoyed about him is his thoroughness with his reviews, and that's why we always, at least people that have been around for a while, we measure review time in number of Basardos, which is an hour, because he could take anything and stretch that bitch for an hour. But he did release a really good video this last week, and I thought it might be good to just go ahead and show it because it's really super short. It's only like 2 minutes, and I thought it was really good. So, Masty, if you wouldn't mind rolling that, I'm going to present you.
Got it.
I hope this music isn't copyrighted.
I mean, it's just the same thing repeating over and over. So
Yeah. It's good big tricks. Yeah. So I know it was short and it's a little cheesy. That's fine. But at the same time, I thought it was a good message, and I was really glad that he put that out. I just thought it was nice. I did want to call out the hand Masty that pushes his the mod into his hand. You see the meat on that hand? There's some jersey on that fist.
Roast beef.
Yeah, we're back that up. Can you rewind it to where he gets handed the mod? Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
I said in chat, it looks like it was a phone card scam with that cigarette in his mouth.
That hand will knock you the fuck out.
That's right.
I love the glitter on the fingernails too.
That's a Fitbit.
Anyway, so thanks, Pete. You're the man. It was a good little video. I dug it.
What do you wait? This is a mugshot right there. I seen some shit.
Yeah, I think this needs to be Madden. What do you think?
Well, as you see here, we got a little bit of tears coming down his eyes because the smoke's blowing up in his face, and it hurts him
when that happened. That was annoying.
And his nostrils are wide open so he can breathe. His eyes are bloodshot. And look at this. We will just fix this right now, just for men. Fix this up real good.
Just for men.
There we go. Ta-da.
Yeah, Fessy. Basardo cheesy? Yeah, I know. he's got a healthy amount of cheese. But it's usually good-natured cheese, if that's such a thing.
Yeah.
Somebody made a comment. What was it? Was it on Reddit? Because I did see somebody had posted it on ECR, and somebody in there said something about like, I can't see Phil anymore without thinking he's pretentious and something or other. I'm like, dude, have you ever met Phil? He might be the least pretentious person I've met vaping. He knows exactly what Phil is.
Someone said on that thread, they were like, "Oh, timestamp for the real vape trick." They were like, "Get rid of all these other vape tricks." Some of the people were saying they were crying at the end of the video. So it's having the impact it should. Getting people's attention.
Yeah, it's a silly joke, but it's true. And he's done a pretty good job at staying focused on that whole smokers wanted thing. That because he's always been, he's a giant mouth-to-lung fan. That's just what he does, and so that's cool. Some of us kind of got away from that a while back, but he's still focused on it. I think that's cool. Yeah. I mean, anyway, it's difficult. You'd have to kind of try to find something bad to say about Phil. Phil's Phil. He knows what he is, who he is. We'll put it that way. Gibbs, what does that mean? Tuna is my preferred canned fish. I mean, okay. Sure. Boy. Marking that off. Ooh, that's good. I need to get the link for that. Anybody got anything to talk about while I grab a link?
Football.
Football. Sure.
I mean, vaping life has been rather uneventful. I've been vaping I made in a prison constant like the last week.
I'm jealous you have that. I don't have any. I don't have the ingredients for that anymore.
Oh, that's a problem.
That's
a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem. All right, I'm gonna throw a link in side chat. I did have Chato from Chato-san Cotton pinged me a few days ago and asked and said that a few hooligans had been sending him messages needing more Chato Cotton for the next round. So I did set up a thing. It is a slight price break this time. He gave us, I think it was $450. Yeah, he gave us a little bit of a price break this time, which is cool of him. And I set that up. I'm putting the link in side chat for the post if you need some more cotton. There you go. No, we don't get a thin dime from that. That's just a cotton I like to use, and I think Chato's a nice guy, so we do group buys on occasion. But it's not. I don't know. You know what? That's actually a good question. Is there a word for that? Because we're not doing a group buy. Like we're not saving money by sending it to me and getting wholesale, and then I turn around and distribute it out and whatever. Like you just buy it from him. It's more like just a coordinated buy, if there's a word for that. That's what we're doing. Anyway, there's a link to the form in the post you can fill out. Chat will get you some shit. It's good stuff. It's all I use. It's all I've used for many years at this point. Let's see. Pull this up too. What you got going on, Massey? You're quiet tonight.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my kid's sleeping right there. Just kidding.
No, I just mean. And the med just left.
No, I'm looking for the. Oh, here it is. I don't know if you have this in your news, but I was reading a post and then went through the comments for a post that was made on Reddit, like I think yesterday or this morning, and it was titled "Anyone Ever Been Almost Arrested?"
Oh yeah,
having e-cigs in their car. I don't know if you were going to talk about this or not.
I wasn't, but I did read the post. Yeah.
But basically, the
Will just said, "Yeah, Shadows is the Yeti of cotton."
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, that was good.
But basically, the comment goes basically the TLDR was girl and her fiance get pulled over for a minor offense. and that most officers just give a warning for, but instead was separated from my fiance. I was given the 3rd degree because officers thought that the e-cigarette was for weed. Okay. And, you know, basically I started asking him a bunch of questions like, you know, who is he? Where are you guys going? You know, where do you live?
What kind of car do you drive?
What kind of car? Yeah, all of that, right? So that's not the crazy. I don't think that that's a crazy story. This is why you always go into the comments. Okay, this is, as far as I know, you know, real. Someone commented and said, this is what happened to their brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is a truck driver and was arrested in Georgia for e-liquid. He got pulled into a weight station, which is normal. But once the officer discovered that he was vaping, he demanded that my brother-in-law show him proof that the liquid did not contain THC. Since he just had the bottle and not the original packaging, he was arrested on felony charges for possession of an illegal substance in a commercial vehicle. They impounded the truck, the trailer, and took his dog to the pound and threw him in the local jail. We did manage to get him bailed out and get his dog back as well as the truck and trailer, but the case is still ongoing. We called the authorities in charge in Georgia last week, and they said that it's still waiting on the lab results to determine whether or not the liquid contained THC. It's been 6 months since he was arrested, and now his career is still in limbo because the charges won't be dropped until the test results come back. Although the state of Georgia said they will expedite process and they will expedite the process and things will go more smoothly if he just pleads guilty. Just another example of our glorious justice system in action.
Yeah,
so
no, that's a bunch of shit, right? Because I think that's a reasonable thing for the cop to do as a concept, right? If you've got something that it smells like weed, it looks like weed, you know, whatever, fine. But like, there's no probable cause there. Like, you can't. It's one thing, even if you wrote him a ticket or something for it, fine. But like, to do all of that, homeboy, I am not a litigious man, but that shit would have me calling lawyers for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, the dude doesn't have much money, and they're saying, you know, how do you do this? Because now it's been a long period of time, you know, that he's had this. So. But there were other you know, posts on there about, you know, vaping and getting pulled over, you know. So I'm wondering if this is going to become more of a, you know, hey, you pull somebody over and they got anything that's e-liquid or any vape paraphernalia, call it paraphernalia, and confiscate it, pull them over until they can prove that it doesn't have any THC in it. You know, and that's nuts.
Yeah, no,
it's
crazy.
It's like the states are putting in their own hands to you know, prevent people from doing it.
We said a while ago that they would be the problem before any legislation that passed.
Yeah,
for states.
Yeah, for sure.
Crazy.
So
yeah, Durham's right. He should sue the department.
No, that's what I was talking about. Like, I'm not a litigious person, but if that happened to me and I was out of work for 6 months and they were telling me to plead guilty so it would go faster,
yeah, that's apparently a very common thing to do. And I think it was in this thread that somebody posted a video that just went viral of an actual lawyer who works on the side for Uber, and he drives an Uber, okay? And he's been out of law school for like 2-3 years, okay? So he's paying these gigantic loans back, works at the courthouse, whatever. And he gets pulled over and he's filming everything, and the cop loses his shit. A sergeant loses his shit of this guy recording him, and he's like, there's a law that just passed, you're not allowed to record me. And he's like, I'm allowed to record everything I want. You know, you guys have just, you know, pulled me over. You pulled the guy out, right? So they pulled the guy. They were more interested in the guy that he was driving. And he's like, listen, all I do is pick up people and drop them off. I don't know who they are. I don't know what their business is. Nothing. That's what Uber does, you know? So anyways.
Raises a really good question though, right? Because and cabs, I think, are exempt from this, but maybe, I'm not sure. But I know as a private citizen, if you're in the driver's seat, you're responsible for the shit that's in the car. no matter
Yeah,
what it is,
so-
right? Some guy could
so
have
that's-
coke in
I
the
don't-
back, and that's
right. And I
on
don't
you.
know about that because I don't know what the law is on that because he, they're like, oh, well, maybe he threw something under the seat, something he had on him, and they had pulled him over because the place where he dropped the guy off was a known drug house or something like that. Anyways, long story short, no one goes to jail, right? But they bring in a canine. They tell him to step out of his car and they bring in a canine to basically smell his car.
Sure.
So imagine this. How many people get in and out of a car in an Uber, right? Someone is going to have some contact with some kind of drug that's going to rub off on the car, right? Well, so in this post, so it's kind of like showing how the cops can use the e-liquid and you vaping, because obviously if you're blowing clouds, they're going to see it, well, and having it in a bottle that's not labeled. I agree. I can see how that can be, a bit of an issue. Well, the reason I bring this story up is because the canine detects that there's something in the car. So this sergeant, big dude, just fucking, gives him shit. He goes, you didn't think I was going to be able to search your car or something. So he opens the door, starts ripping shit out, And one of the cops is being cool about it because he knows the guy. He's like, I thought you looked familiar. He's like, I've seen you in the courtroom, blah, 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 blah. Well, they find a bottle of melatonin for his mom, which is over the counter, does not require a prescription.
Right.
And he's like, what is this? And he's like, that's melatonin. It's something your body, produces
to go to sleep.
It's labeled and shit.
Anyways, it just goes to show you how it can be a totally different scenario, and you can be up shit's creek. And this guy knows his law and rights, and he's like, he wasn't being confrontational, but if that's something that happens to a lawyer, you can just imagine what can happen to a trucker or something like that who has no idea of what their rights are or anything like that. And the one thing that I didn't even notice, that a bunch of people who are trainers said, they were like, that dog didn't signal, because the guy's asking, well, how's a dog signal when he finds something? And the cop's like, oh, I'm not sure, and the dog's walking around. Well, everybody was like, he didn't signal. The dog wanted to play. He was rewarded too quickly, So long story short, somebody did an internal investigation. The sergeant got demoted, and now they're going after the guy who trains the canine because they're like, that's bullshit. You prevent someone from searching your car until a canine comes by, sits for a second, and then, oh, nope, there's something in there. Get in there, So there you go. But yeah, that is a good question. What happens when you're in an Uber and, the cops pull you over for your passenger, if something left under the seat, is it going to be mine? Is it going to be his? How does that work?
Dude, that shit ain't mine. And you'd be not joking, right?
Yep. So I don't know. I mean, it was it's crazy. But so one of the things with this story was that it was different than like since it was Georgia State Patrol that runs it. It's a federal building, I guess, where the weight station is. So it's different than any like a normal beat cop pulling you over. So
Rob Chet says, I'm going to start planning evidence in Ubers.
Yeah. So
tough. That's tough. I actually kind of feel like I want to Google around and figure out how that works with private limos. Like, I think is what Uber's considered.
Yeah.
With that whole thing. Speaking of people that are anti-vaping, look at this. Look at this thing. There's a screen share. Boom. So the old San Francisco Chronicle says the FDA awards Stanton Glands. I mean,
oh, right.
You may recognize him. I mean, I know that his name sounds like a particular part of the male anatomy, and I don't think that's an accident. I think his parents knew that he would be a giant dick, so they went ahead and named him that. Anyway, so he's been given $20 million to study the health effects of vaping, and I think the top comment here sums up most of the people's conclusions there. Yeah, he's
relevant username too.
Yeah, exactly. He's been known to be very anti-vaping, and there's been a lot of rumoring about why that is. But the short version is you can pretty much guarantee that this is going to be slanted as hell, which sucks because we know, based on lots of science with tests that are done accurately, that vaping is a lot better for you. But that's going to come back, and it's going to give you swine flu, and it's going to give you, it's going to make horns grow.
Vaping custard does make you gain weight, though.
It may. It's, vaping's going to make you wear like large flat brimmed caps.
I mean, that's pretty detrimental to society too, isn't it?
That's true. I don't have an argument for that. That's pretty accurate.
I have to side with them on that one.
But that's it. Yeah, that's right, Festy. He's he doesn't have any medical training, but he sure plays one on TV. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, Vic, that's glance. That's right. That's right. You'd think that if you were going to actually want to do a study like that, you would go after somebody that A, knew the matter at hand, and B, was relatively a blank slate, right? Don't really have an opinion on it either way. Not somebody that's already done a bunch of negative to, no matter what the issue is, done a bunch of shit. You want to get somebody new or somebody at least neutral. Unless you already know what your answer wants to be or what you want your answer to be. Yeah. JTS reviews. Yeah, that's the. If I remember right, I had a buddy. I had a close friend who was a cop. He wasn't a canine guy, but I remember talking to him about that. And I feel like most of them have a they like dip their head and they scratch. Most of them. It's kind of like a pointer thing. When the tail goes and all that stuff. But I think there are some variations depending on who's training the dog. I think because I know a lot of them come from they're trained in like what was it? Is it the Netherlands? I know some of them are German and some of them are like Netherlands. The dogs are trained in another language on purpose, so that way they can be commanded in the country that they're in without interference and whatever. Right? They've got very unique commands. Anyway, I think it varies a little bit about whether or not they hit on it.
So you're telling me I should train a dog in Swahili?
Yes. I think that would be really cool. You'd have to be really good at Swahili though, to get that out fast enough, if you're wanting to issue a quick command. That's not exactly one that rolls off the tongue for most people.
I'm getting stabbed and I'm like trying to tell my dog to get him off of me.
Thanks. Were you gonna cover the battery news?
Go ahead, you can do it. It's fine.
So Mitch posted. It's been a few days, so it's caught in between the two shows. But basically, he's saying that there's big changes to the rating tables and how he rates certain batteries that are coming soon. And the reasoning is battery wrapping companies are switching from rewrapping OEM cells like the Samsung, Sony's, etc., to cells manufactured in China because the more consistent supply available from the China factories. They don't have to scramble everywhere to find excess inventory, and there can be a monetary incentive to do this also. So the real concern for us, he says, is we're often using these cells without any idea whether they have passed the most basic safety testing or even what battery chemistry they use. While he doesn't think that they use the same chemistry as lipos, he wants to be sure. So these China manufactured cells also have a lot more variation in their performance from cell to cell than those from Samsung, Sony, etc. So if you think about it, this is definitely way better for the battery manufacturer because they're not using seconds. This is really bad for us because they're not using seconds. They're using like eighths compared to these cells from Sony and Samsung.
Which are often labeled specifically not for use individually and that kind of thing, right? Like Sony's real bad about that. Specifically saying these things are not to be used in e-cigarettes.
Yep. So he says a missing data sheet or safety test document for a China manufacturer cell or identify OEM cell results in a do not buy recommendation. This is done because without the documentation, we don't know how risky it is to use them. So when you see that on his spreadsheet, that's why. That's part of the reason why. And I agree with that. That's how it should be. Yeah. you have the same issue. For example, if you're in any of you go to the maker fairs and stuff like that, or you have one local to you, and you want to use, let's say, a laser cutter. Well, you need to have an MSDS of what material you're cutting. If you're gonna be freaking, burning that shit up, you might be creating all kinds of nasty stuff. It goes the same with this. These batteries have no safety ratings on them, no information about the cell. So basically, if any battery wrapping company changes a cell without its obvious wrap change, and the cell is given a do not buy recommendation and is not retested, he's not wasting any more time on this kind of stuff, which I agree. I mean, that's kind of shady shit, where all of a sudden they start taking these batteries, which were a known thing, the Samsung and the Sony seconds, and just automatically switching them to shit made in China. So, yeah. And lastly, he says he suspects that most of the China cells and many rewraps too will end up being derated or tagged "do not buy," at least for a while. He says, "I want to sincerely thanks Assis Rutsky from Enerdin and Jonathan Tang from NPE, two distributors who have been a huge help in sorting out the dizzying array of international lithium-ion safety regulation standards and documentation requirements. Without their help, I would still be floundering in the sea of incredibly confusing paperwork." He'll post more information about it and do a video about it. So keep an eye out for that. That's pretty important. We are all using these batteries. Okay. So, keep an eye out for them. And it's going to be interesting to see what, because I remember a lot of the manufacturers losing their shit when he started doing the reviews. Yeah. Because, they were lying about the stuff. And he, got a lot of change, for them to start putting the real amp ratings and stuff on the labels. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this, because this is the physical battery now being changed. Yeah. Not just the print, not just the label. So.
And that's, if Festi is not wrong, he said they're convinced that rewrappers started bait and switch a long time. Send a legit version to Mooch and get the rated, and then just send shit on the other side of it. That's why I don't buy rewrap batteries in general. For that very reason, because the first couple batches may well be good batteries, and not just the ones they send to Mooch, even the ones that they send to everybody. And once they get in there and get their foot in, and people start saying this is a good battery, and then just send the rest, send shit. It's happened before. Mooch has caught it before, and people have caught it before too. Because he rated them highly, I did get these VapCell black ones in a while back to give them a whack, because they were supposedly VTC. Oh crap! What was it? 5D? They were the 5As. They were the one after that. Anyway.
Sorry, go on.
But so I did buy a pair of those a while back, and I still use them. But one of them is garbage. Like, one of them does not work well at all. The other one does work well, but that was in one package, like one paired package. So that kind of shit, like, it just skews me out, man. I'd rather buy batteries from a single manufacturer, same label as they all are. I don't care if they've got your store's brand as a rewrap on them. I don't want that. I just want the fucking original cell and be done with it. Nah.
Yeah, I feel like for a while it was easy for the companies, at least when they were smaller, to sell better quality shit. But probably, I feel like if anything, they had to start buying cheaper shit, because the good shit that they were getting may not have been as readily available, because they're buying like B cells and shit, right?
Yeah.
Not according to them, right? They always say that they get the best quality batteries and put their brand on it, but we know that that's not necessarily the case. Yeah. What's to stop them from doing that, right?
Yeah, basically, they just sell more batteries, and they're like, yeah, about that.
Yeah, well, the 5Ds, I think, is what they're supposedly were. And again, maybe they are, and I just got one bad cell. But all I know is that totally confirmed my problem with rewraps. If that had the Sony label on it, then I'd know that was a legit bad cell. But maybe that's not a bad cell for whatever's inside of this one. Maybe it's a good one for that, but it's certainly not the ratings that's on the outside of it. And I know because I charge it and I see how much power is going back into it. Anyway.
Yeah, he's up to some scientisty shit, because he posted 3 days ago, Mooch did, he's looking for any And if any are here in the chat, you know, our gaggle of experts, any near-infrared spectroscopy experts around. So there you go. So I think he's going to be taking some of these batteries apart, pulling some of the contents out, and checking them that way to see what they got.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, if you're not aware, Mooch does have a Patreon account, and he's one of the very few people that, you know, we always make fun of the Patreon thing, right? I mean, people producing content and think they need to be paid for it, but Mooch is actually the one that I can think of that needs that, right? We as a community need people like Mooch doing what he does, right? Keeping us safe and knowing what shit's good and what shit's bad and what shit's dangerous, because we can't trust what's on the label.
And he's proved that over and over again. And this goes to show how much of an uphill battle he's been fighting this whole time.
Yeah.
There are times when he's keeping battery companies honest, and now they just don't seem to give a fuck. And he has to, you know, push back.
Yep. And yes, the 20S from Samsung were supposed to be really good. I have not gotten any of those in, but I think some of my 5As are on their way out, and I probably need to replace them with something. So it'll probably be that next. But man, I tell you what, those 20Ss, if you can find them, they are expensive. Whew. Yeah, the 30Qs are the stinky pinkies. Those things are good for regulated, not so good for an unregulated mod. All right. Anyway, so if you feel like throwing a couple bucks into the hat, go to patreon.com/ I think it's Battery Mooch. I do every month. You should too. The way he's doing it, he's kind of a freelance guy anyway for his full-time real job, and he cordons off his month to he cordons off his month depending on how much money is coming in from Patreon, and then devotes that percentage of the month straight to content for vaping, which I think is really cool. And he communicates a lot on the Patreon page about, you know, asking questions about what we want to see, what, you know, tests that we want to see next, all that sort of stuff. He's real active on there. It's pretty cool. Speaking of unregulated things, that was not meant to be a segue, but it can be. Yeah. So if you remember a while back, if you've been watching the show for a long time, you know that I spent many years as a regulated vapor, including when I started squonking and got a hold of my first one of these little guys, our Mud Evo. Still with DNA 40, was perfectly happy with that for a really long time. During the time that was nasty and was full on with Eric making the Titans, Ahmed had several Titans and was all doing the unregulated thing. One of the things that I always hated about unregulated stuff was the fact that you got no feedback from the mod to tell you, you know, stuff like how much battery is left, you know, that kind of thing, right? and the switch. Was one of the clicky switch. But when I got the first MOSFET freehand that turned me into an unregulated vapor, I just sort of started dealing with the battery thing because at least I got my clicky switch and everything was nice and small and I liked it, right? But so I just saw something, it was like literally yesterday, that I hadn't seen before. And I will pull this up. Now, one of the things, and everybody knows I'm a massive Limelight fan, especially the new RAM board. Freaking sweet. It's a great board. I'm absolutely loving the thing. But there is another sort of same idea thing out there, which is like a PCB with a MOSFET on board, specifically meant for vaping. It's called the Bomber Pro. And while I'm not a massive Sunbox fan, Sunbox is apparently releasing the share thing just went away, is releasing something using it. And it's not just the old Bomber Pro. It looks like a D's. Look at that. It's a Bomber Pro with a freaking screen on it. So you can see your battery as a picture here, the number of amps you're dumping out to it, the resistance of your atomizer. I don't know what 16 seconds is. Maybe your last draw or something. I'm not sure, but it looks like it's calculating your wattage. and it's just giving you your voltage left. I don't know anything more about this. This is I only found a couple of pictures of it. This is the best picture I found. But I thought this was kind of cool. If it is what it appears to be, then there you go. I think that's really neat to give us some amount of feedback on an unregulated mod. Yeah, that's right, Shane. Iniquadro had one with called the Scream, and I thought it was new too. Or I thought that mod was new too, but Shane's saying it's older. So maybe I just hadn't seen it. I haven't been following the Bomber Pro thing for a while, I guess. But all the Bomber Pros that I've seen up until yesterday or whatever did not have a screen. But that one did. So I thought it showed to you. I thought it was pretty slick. So if you're wanting one of those, that was an IM Sunbox collab. And then Shane's saying that the one of the Iniquadro Scream has one as well. Duro says might as well put a chip in it at that point. Well, I mean it does. You mean like a regulated board? There's a nice ramp up when it comes to unregulated mods. It's not something that I really appreciated until I started dripping unregulated. Once I found a build that I liked and stuff. And when you put a regulator between there, it's not bad. It's just different, right? And I can understand that. And that's Shane's right. The other thing about it is they're real small, and I don't know how much larger the if at all that the Bomber Pro is that powers the display. But by the way, when it comes to names for vaping gear, Bomber, not a good name.
It's all right.
It's not
at least it's not literally a grenade mod.
I mean, you roll through TSA with a bomber. Not a good idea.
Does it say bomber on it? I mean,
well, that one doesn't. I'm just saying. Maybe it does. Maybe when you power it up, it says Bomber Pro.
I mean, I'm not gonna fucking say that. Just say it's a Sunbox. Like, why do you have to be fucking specific about it? Like, it has. I mean, if the TSA guy happens to vape, it's like, yo, it's got that new Bomber Pro in it.
Yeah. I mean, you could call it the Vandy Vape Plus that ends up like this. It just went up in smoke a couple days ago. And there's another picture. And there's another picture.
Fucking Vandy Vape. So Will said, I don't need to screen anything that I can't increase or decrease the wattage on. And I would tend to agree. I think that's way overkill personally. But one of the things that I did that I was suggesting before the RAM came out, that I was talking to Dayan about, I was like, the only thing I really want when it comes to something like this, besides all the features and stuff that's already in this, and I assume the Bomber has many of the same features, or at least similar ones. One of the things that I want is I do want, without taking the battery out and sticking it in a mod or in a charger, I just want to know the remaining voltage. I think that's just a small single piece of useful information. So if I'm running out the door and I hit that and it, does some sort of indicator to let me know I need to stop and replace my battery before I go out and run errands, that would be a really useful piece of information for me. I don't care about the resistance of the atomizer. I don't care about the calculated wattage that I'm vaping on. I don't care about the amp draw on my batteries. I can do all that stuff, separately. Just that one piece of information for a quick thing would be nice. Meh. That's what the Scream had, Gareth said. Shane said, just change your battery out and walk out the door. I mean, okay, or I could not if it has 4.1 volts left. I don't need to do that. It's just a step. It would be nice. That's all. Oh, Gur said it had the small Scream had a battery meter. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. And something like this that has a real subtle light on it. If it just had like an Anakin style, red, green, blue button dance you could do on it. That's all I'd want. I think that would be nice. That's all. What? All right.
Nah.
Maybe I'm Will's teasing me about my mod collection, which is admittedly much smaller than his. these days, especially these days.
Did you see the picture of the battery that blew up in the Luck V4? Here's a
No, in the charger.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
shit.
laying on my bed about to go to sleep, and all of a sudden I hear a whizzing sound. It sounded like air coming out of a tire. I get up and see it's coming from one of my batteries. I unplug the charger and then run into the other room and hear a loud popping sound. I come back and see bits from the battery scattered all over the room, engulfed in flames. So I grab the shirt and put out the little fires. The batteries are Samsung's 30Qs and only about 2 months old from IMR batteries. 2 of the batteries were in for 2 days and the other 2 were in since that morning, including the one which exploded. I know the Luck V4 is supposed to stop charging when they're done, but that obviously didn't happen, and I should have been more careful. I'm never leaving batteries in a charger again, and hopefully some of you who do think twice as well.
You know what probably happened is something in the circuitry probably failed.
Yeah, well, that's true, and I think that's related to what I was going to say. You know what probably happened is you bought something made by eFest.
Hey, straight up, dude, I've had my Luck for like 5 years now.
I know. That's why.
Granted, I actually my power adapter for it, the original one that came with it, got shorted by a shitty outlet at a vape shop. So I actually had to buy a new one for it.
That made a mess. Dude, I could see how this could turn into a bad situation. Here's the other picture. When shit goes all over the place like that, it's gonna be insta fire. Look at that. You got little bits of shit all over the place on the carpet.
Honestly, I need an excuse to rip out the carpet in here. So
I don't want that as an excuse, man. Stink it up.
That's the joke.
I think I went through 2 of my chargers since you've had the Luck. I know you've had that thing for a long time, but
just when the leftmost spring broke on it like a few months ago, but that's it, really.
Yeah.
I also have a D2 in case. That was like my travel charger.
Right.
But
dude, this is an interesting idea. So a user posted in there and he said, I keep my charger in a 14 by 14 by 4 electrical junction box face up with the appliance feet on the bottom to keep it about 1.5 inches above the surface on which is rest. And the charger is plugged into a receptacle, which I installed physically into the box. No cords over the edges, etc. Seeing these extremely rare posts totally vindicates my paranoia. Here is a picture of what this guy has going on, and that's not a bad idea. But then again, you shouldn't be even leaving the charger by itself. So
yeah, and I've always been a long proponent of, even though I really like the chargers that I use, I do always try to take the batteries out when they're done, right? Not because I don't trust it, but just because I don't trust it, right? If that makes any sense. But I do occasionally forget if I'm up late late at night here in the office or something, and I've thrown a battery on there and I just forgot about it. That I can't tell you the number of times I've rolled in and I've got a single 650 just sitting in there. Fuck. Overnight.
Yeah. Sometimes, some mornings I throw, if I see I have like a couple of like dead batteries stack up that need charging, I'll throw them in before I go to work in the morning.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that this isn't just limited to 18650 batteries. I have the picture somewhere. I can't dig them up right now, but I had a Panasonic 2000 mAh AA battery set that I used for my camera. This is probably about 8-9 years ago. And I had it in the charger, and I was in the room, and AA batteries, rechargeables, not a big deal. You don't think anything of them. And I hear, it sounded like a pot coming to boil, like a teapot going, wee! And I'm like, what the hell is that noise? And as I turned the corner it was a 4-bay charger, little plug-in charger. As I turn the corner, I see a steady stream of just steam or whatever the fuck it was shooting out, and it goes, beep, and it just shot all this shit all over the place that was on fire. And I'm like, oh my God. So I go over there and fucking whack the thing off the wall, and I'm using my temp gun, and I have pictures of this shit like almost at 300 degrees. That's how hot these fucking things got. So, because I figured no one's going to believe this. They're going to see the batteries and they're going to think, oh, that's nothing. It didn't really get too hot. You know, kind of like the slow melty stuff where it just gets warm enough to deform the plastic. No.
Yeah.
It's hot. You know, because my first thought was grab the batteries and get them off of them. Then I'm like, grab my temp gun, temp that some bitch.
How about no?
How about no? So yeah, I mean that's can happen. I think there were 2,300 mile or something like that, which is huge for double A's back in the day. So
yeah,
but so it can. I mean, you know, it can have an idea of them.
It can, and you know, same thing I always say. You know, people are way too used to carrying those double A's around in their pocket or whatever they need to do. They don't appreciate the amount of angry pixies that are inside of these cells that we use. I don't think.
Yep.
That's right. Festy just referenced AVE, which is what I just did too. Well done. Oh boy. So yeah, use a good charger and don't use EFS unless you have Ahmed's, which is apparently the one good one that they made.
I know a lot of people that used them. I remember I got mine. Where was it? Was it 101 vapes? They were like clearing them out. I remember I got it for like $17, and that was like mad cheap for one at the time.
Yeah,
and it was like 25 to 30. So, yep.
PC4 is about the same price now, retail.
Dude, my next 4-bay charger is probably gonna be a D4. Who am I kidding? I just need like the simple shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Lumen sells those cheap too. The Nightcore stuff.
So I had a dearth of vape mail for a long time. I did get in the Skyfall 2-3 weeks ago, whenever that was, whatever. But way before that, it was a long time, and then the Skyfall came, and there's still been nothing since then. So I think I fixed that for next week. We'll see if it comes in by next week. Some of it will definitely be here by next week. So we'll have something to talk about there. I gave away. It's gonna be fun. So I do have a little bit of vape mail coming in next, and that should be entertaining. Something at least that you can laugh at, if nothing else. And I do have one other piece of news. Hold on, I gotta lie to him and tell him when my birthday isn't. Put in your birthday.
No thanks.
Yeah. How about 01/01/1920? That's what I usually use. Here we go. Here. So these guys, not known for the highest quality when it comes to vaping hardware, but I saw a reference to this on, I think, Todd's group today, and I thought I'd share it because it was at least a kind of interesting idea, mostly because it's a mod that doesn't have a it's not waterproof and having speakers and all this other shit that it's got on it. But this is a squonker that you refill from the top. So the squonky bits. Look, here you go. Here's a picture. Can you make this picture bigger? God, what a pain in the dick.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this little bit unscrews, and then you can refill. And your squonky bottle's down here. You just unscrew the cap and dump that in. I think that's a good idea. Right? You don't have to, no 510 refillers needed. No,
that's neat.
But the thing that's a little weird though is clearly the 510 is here, right? And the bottle section's over there, right? 510 here, bottle's over here. So I don't know what kind of right hand turn the juice is making. When you squonk it, it's coming up to the other side.
Just roll with it, Inks. Click on the other pictures.
Yeah, click on the last picture.
So here's the battery door and the bottom cap for the bottle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the battery is underneath the 510, but not that thing. And that makes sense, obviously, if you're wanting to refill it. The Addy can't be in the way.
Can you take the bottle out?
Yeah, I would assume so because this picture's got the bottom door here for the bottle, and that looks like it's got like a little key, right? Little key you can turn, and it will fall out, and you should be able to take the bottle out. So I don't know what kind of internal mechanisms got. They clearly have a tube going from here to here, but besides that, I still think it's a good idea. If it works, sure. I think that's a cool idea. I mean, it's obviously a large mod. It's obviously Dove Pro, which means it's probably, it'll be Chinesium. But it's kind of a dope idea, I thought.
Oh,
VDog 55 says, in the cart. Oh, OR Church and Tomas just said the Vapor Chronicles project. Oh, look at that. This guy's had some more information that I didn't know. I just saw that earlier today, and I threw it in the notes tonight. So the Vapor Chronicles got a mod doing that, huh? Hazozita says there's a plastic tube connecting the bottle to the base of the 510. He saw a video about it. Look at that.
right. But how is that plastic tube connect? Right, because we all know what those plastic tubes do when they are in a close bend proximity.
Mm-hmm.
Boop.
Can't.
So I wonder if they have some kind of plastic that the tube can follow to get plugged in.
Yeah, that's right. Just throw the little side pumpy thing on there, Bluetooth speaker, make it waterproof.
It'd be like a woman's like perfume bottle.
Right. One of those companies did that. You remember that? One of the
I remember.
Todd doesn't shit on things very often, but he shit all over that thing.
Yep.
A really funny little thing on the side. There you go. So that's cool. I mean, I assume if Vapor Chronicles are involved, they've been vaping for a while. I don't know them personally, but
Brian.
Do you know them?
I know one of them.
There you go. Apparently, Brian was the one who did a video on it. So maybe they figured it out.
I actually forgot that he told me at one point that he was thinking on a mod, but yes.
There you go. Well, good for them. I'm DIL, right? Right. This week in vape drama. So you may remember last week when I may have crapped a little bit on a new Addy coming out for the Built Box.
Mm-hmm.
They already did. Apparently somebody by the name of Toby, I don't know if I should give his full name, but he's been around the vaping community for quite some time, and he posted an intoxicated, in his words, an intoxicated opinion on it, and it ran roughly along where my opinion ran, and he got roasted for it in a Billet Box group, which is too bad. Because Toby seems like a reasonable person. I've talked to him briefly in comments and stuff before, and he seemed like a nice enough guy. And B, he was sharing with an opinion that I clearly have as well, and he got
Just responded and been like, "Word."
It was way too late. I didn't find out about it until today. It apparently happened over the weekend, and the thread was dead, and people were already bitching about too much arguing going on, so I was left alone. And speaking of that, by the way, I caught a video of Todd right after the show last week. He went on live, and it was Festy that linked me to the video after it was live, and Todd kind of said the same thing that I did. Yay! I'm back on good terms with Todd.
Vindicated.
That's right. You know, if Todd's saying it, it's probably true.
Mm-hmm.
Probably true. All right. I think that about does it for my news this week.
Not about right.
Oh, those guys were super defensive about their atomizer, by the way.
I imagine. We're not going to be you fuck.
But you saw some of the. I mean, obviously, has there been an actual review done of it? Like, has somebody gotten it?
Oh, did you?
Do we know?
Did I not mention that somebody did do a review of it, and it was Oh man, how should I say this? We'll just say it was not an objective video. Somebody pointed to it. It was bad. Like a significant portion of the review was literally reading through the PDF, like putting the PDF up on the screen and reading it to you. It was God, I'm trying to find a not drama causing term for it, but it wasn't an objective review. We'll put it that way. It was basically just showing it off. That's fair enough. I think that's probably accurate. So yeah, certainly not a good review. Oh shit, William, you bought one? Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, good, good, good. I'm really excited about that actually. So now we can hear about it. Yeah, no, I just
When are they due to come out?
I don't know. Everybody's running lists. I think I've seen it come up in my feed with like two different group by groups have got it going on. They're flogging the shit out of it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how that ends up.
yeah, we should. Anyway, that's all I've got. You got anything else to talk about, Mazzy or Foo?
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
I still think that the downfall on that is going to be the tank space being used up.
Absolutely. It's ridiculous.
So,
You taking a burr and cutting off at least 20, 30% of the top.
Boro? What's the running mill on the Boro? It's
I don't know, 5.5, 6 mil, something like that.
It's like 5-6 mil, and I think they said it was down to 2 mil, and plus
the video in question said
dropped.
Most rebuildable atomizers in the billet box that use the regular Boro, they reduce the capacity down to like whatever he said. I don't even remember what he said, like 2.5 mil. But this one is different. This one's up to, it increases it to like 4 or 4.5 mil or something. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Someone's got to give it a syringe test. I mean, that'll settle it, right?
That's crazy.
You've literally lopped off the top 20 or 30% of the fucking tank. It's not going to hold more than
maybe they found some space nobody else knows about.
No, magic. Insert magic. Insert magic GIF. Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know why I am stuck. Okay then. Am I moving? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
oh no, you're frozen again.
Gotta love that face. Okay, well, I got something for the outro.
Roll it.
All right.
Thanks everybody for coming by. We'll see you again next week. We love you.
Bye.
Later.
Yeah. I'm in New York City, home of a little greasy spoon we like to call McDonald's. Hey, they got whatever the kids like, hamburgers, hot dogs. Let's go inside. Hey, you guys got cheeseburgers? Yes, we do. I'll take one of them. That's New York. Oh, I'm in New York City, home of a little bodega you probably never heard of called 7-Eleven. They got a little bit of everything, but nothing good. Let's go inside. Hey, how you doing? You got those disgusting fruit cups that nobody likes.
Fruit cups? Yeah. Right over there.
All right. Now that's New York.